Someone said look up Lizzie Borden. The only thing I know about Lizzie Borden is that she took right to the back of her parents or the front or butchered them, something along that line. Lizzie Andrew Borden was an American woman who was tried and acquitted of the August 4th, 1892 axe murders of her father and stepmother in Fall River, Massachusetts. Nothing good comes out of Fall River, I'm telling you. And I've been told. I didn't even know this existed, but if we got the boys together, that is something within reach that we could go do. I don't know if it's tours or something like that. It'd be insane. Or if you can stay in it like a haunted hotel, that'd be... Yo, she's a goddamn cutie. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yo, she looks like the chick from Misery. No one else was charged in the murders, and despite ostracism from other residents, Borden spent the remainder of her life in Fall River. She died of pneumonia at the age of 66, just days before the death of her older sister, Emma. So how old was she when she whacked the parents? The Borden murders and trial received widespread publicity in the United States, never remained a topic in American pop culture, despite numerous films, theatrical productions, literature works, and folk rhymes around the Fall River area. What are they trapping about Lizzie Borden down there? I didn't know there was a movie about her too. How have I never been recommended that? The beginning of the channel was strictly horror movies. We never did a Lizzie Borden movie. Lizzie Andrew Borden was born on July 19th, 1860 in Fall River, Massachusetts, to Sarah Anthony Borden and Andrew Jackson Borden. What a name. Her father, who was of English and Welsh descent, grew up in the very modest surroundings and struggled financially as a young man. Despite being the descendant of wealthy and influential local residents. Wait, so his parents are like Joey Badass? Andrew eventually prospered in the manufacture and sale of furniture and caskets, then became a successful property developer, working his way. He was a director of several textile mills and owned considerable commercial property, real estate tycoon. He was also president of the Union Savings Bank and a director of the Durfee, that's a funny name, Safe Deposit and Trust. At the time of his murder, his estate was valued at $300,000, $10 million as of 2024. It would be the equivalent. That's fucking wild. So you got some money. You ain't no Joe Schmo. Despite his wealth, Andrew was known for his frugality. For instance, the Borden residence lacked indoor plumbing, even though it was a common feature for the wealthy at the time. You're worth $10 million in property. You don't even have a fucking plumbing system? Mental case. The house stood in an affluent area, but the wealthiest residents of Fall River, including Andrew's cousins, generally lived in the more fashionable neighborhood, The Hill, which was farther from the industrial areas of the city. Yeah, they don't want to be seen around with the mill boys. Lizzie and her older sister, Emma Lenora Borden, had a relatively religious upbringing and attended Central Congregational Church. Can't forget that extra GA there. That's important. As a young woman, Lizzie was very involved in the church activities, including Sunday school to the children of the recent immigrants to the United States. She was involved in religious organizations such as the Christian Endeavor Society, for which she served as a secretary-treasurer. In contemporary social movements such as Women's Christian Temperance Union. Yo, she's a part of everything. Lizzie B. There's gotta be a rap song about that. She was also a member of the Ladies Fruit and Flower Mission. She does it all. She's gonna be the next fucking Barbara Walter. Not Barbara. What's Barbara's name from Shark Tank? Poor thing. She's looking rough now on these latest seasons. She's the best though. We wish her well. 3 years after the death of Lizzie's mother, Andrew married Abby Durfee Gray. Lizzie later stated that she called her stepmother Mrs. Borden and demurred on whether they had a good, cordial relationship. She believed that Abby had married her father for his wealth. You could see the axe on the horizon already. Bridget Sullivan, whom they called Maggie, the Borden's 25-year-old live-in maid who had immigrated to the U.S. from Ireland, testified that Lizzie and Emma rarely ate meals with their parents. In May 1892, Andrew killed multiple pigeons in his barn with a hatchet, believing they were attracting local children to hunt them. Lizzie had recently built a roost for the pigeons, and it had been commonly recounted that she was upset over the killing of them. Though the veracity of this has been disputed. Oh, shit. Yo, you don't fuck with his pigeons, bro. He's like the dude from John Wick. A family argument in July 1892 prompted both sisters to take extended vacations in New Bedford. After returning to Fall River a week before the murders, Lizzie chose to stay in a local rooming house for 4 days before returning to the Borden residence. Tension had been growing within the Borden family in the months before the murders, especially over Andrew's gift of real estate to various branches of Abby's family. After their stepmother's sister received a house, the sisters demanded and received a rental property, the home they had lived in until their mother died, which they purchased from the father for $1. That's a steal. A few weeks before the murders, they sold the property back to their father for $5,000, the equivalent of about 170 grand. The night before the murders, John Venicium Mortis, what the fuck are these names, dude? Lizzie and Emma's maternal uncle visited and was invited to stay for a few days to discuss business matters with Andrew, leading to speculation that this conversation, particularly about property transfer, may have aggravated an already tense situation. The money's getting involved. It's gonna go down. She's about to chop him up. But he gave you a house for $1. You're gonna be that ungrateful? For several days before the murders, the entire household had been violently ill. A family friend later speculated that mutton left on the stove to use in meals over days was the cause. Abby had feared poison, given that Andrew had not been a popular man in Fall River. He always got ops and all different area codes. Fucking dude, he's that important? They're gonna poison him? That's so messed up. That's some Game of Thrones shit. That's so unfortunate. The Borden house at 92 2nd Street in Fall River, Mass. It's not bad. Yo, you guys gotta like, comment, share this video like fucking crazy to make this type of video happen. If I can get some of the boys and we go to the Lizzie Borden house, that'd be crazy town. Yo, we'd have to get a thumbnail. Our stupid ass is standing right here. We could get a thumbnail with this. This tree is scary as shit. I don't like that tree. Thursday, August 4th, 1892. The murders of Andrew and Abby. Morse arrived in the evening of August 3rd. And slept in the guest room that night. After breakfast in the morning, at which Andrew, Abby, Morse, and Sullivan were present, Andrew and Morse went to the sitting room, where they chatted for nearly an hour. Morse left around 8:48 a.m. to buy a pair of oxen and visit his niece in Fall River, planning to return to the Borden home for lunch at noon. Andrew left for his morning walk sometime after 9. Alright, so they're laying the timeline, laying it down. Although the cleaning of the guest room was one of Lizzie's and Emma's regular chores, Abby went upstairs sometime between 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. to make the bed. According to the forensic investigation, Abby was facing her killer at the time of the attack. She was first struck on the side of the head with a hatchet, which cut her just above the ear, causing her to turn and fall face down on the floor, creating contusions on her nose and forehead. Her killer then struck her multiple times, delivering 17 more direct hits to the back of her head, killing her. That's not cool, bro. It's fucking wild. You don't even see it coming. When Andrew returned around 10:30 a.m., his key failed to open the door, so he knocked. Sullivan went to unlock the door, finding it jammed. She uttered a curse. She would later testify that she heard Lizzie laughing immediately after this. She did not see Lizzie, but stated that the laughter was coming from the top of the stairs. This was considered significant as Abby was already dead by this time, and her body would have been visible to anyone on the home's second floor. Lizzie later denied being upstairs and testified that her father had asked her where Abby was, to which she replied that a messenger had delivered Abby a summons to visit a sick friend. Sullivan stated that she had then removed Andrew's boots and helped him into his slippers before he laid down on the sofa for a nap. A detail contradicted by the crime scene photos which show Andrew wearing boots. She testified that she was in her third floor room, resting from cleaning windows when just before 11:10 a.m., she heard Lizzie call from downstairs. "Maggie, quick, Father's dead. Somebody came in and killed him. Yeah, someone came in and killed him." Let's be real here. Fucking rat. Andrew was slumped on a couch in the downstairs sitting room, struck 10 or 11 times with a hatchet-like weapon. One of his eyes has been split cleanly in two, suggesting that he had been asleep when attacked. His still bleeding wound suggested a very recent attack. Dr. Bowen, the family's physician, arrived from his home across the street and pronounced both victims dead. Detectives estimated that Andrew's death had occurred at approximately 11. Wow, right through your eye. Oh my god. Yo, she's a fucking savage. How have we never seen a Lizzie Borden movie on this channel? We gotta get on that. Are all of them just dog shit? Lizzie's initial answers to the police officers' questions were at times strange and contradictory. Initially, she reported hearing a groan or a scraping noise or a distress call before entering the house. 2 hours later, she told police that she had heard nothing and entered the house, not realizing that anything was wrong. When asked where her stepmother was, she recounted Abby receiving a note asking her to visit a sick friend. She also stated that she thought Abby had returned and asked if someone could go upstairs and look for her. Sullivan and a neighbor, Miss Churchill, were halfway up the stairs, their eyes level with the floor, when they looked into the guest room and saw Abby lying down, face on the floor. Most of the officers who interviewed Lizzie reported that they disliked her attitude. Some said she was too calm and poised. Despite her behavior and change in alibis, she was not checked for blood stains. Police did search her room, but it was for a cursory inspection. At the trial, they admitted to not doing a proper search because Lizzie was not feeling well. They were subsequently criticized for their lack of diligence. Bunch of fucking bozos. Yeah, we didn't do a proper check because she ain't feeling great. What do you mean she ain't feeling great? She could have 2 hatchets up her ass, ready for both of you. In the basement, police found 2 hatchets, 2 axes, and a hatchet head with a broken handle. The hatchet head was suspected of being the murder weapon, as the break in the handle appeared fresh and the ash and dust on the head, unlike that on the other bladed tools, appeared to have been deliberately applied to make it look as if it had been in the basement for some time. However, none of these tools were removed from the house because of the mysterious illness that had stricken the household before the murders. The family's milk and the victims' stomachs, removed during autopsies performed in the Borden dining room, were tested for poison. None was found. Okay. Residents suspected Lizzie of purchasing hydrocyanic acid. What the fuck is all that? In a diluted form. Oh my god. Yo, she's putting poison. She's poisoning the parents, putting in like the beef stew and shit. Absolute mental. Lizzie and Emma's friend, Alice Russell, decided to stay with the sisters the night following the murders, while Morse spent the night in the attic guest room. Contrary to later accounts that he slept in the murder site guest room. Police were stationed around the house on the night of August 4th, during which an officer said he had seen Lizzie enter the cellar with Russell, carrying a kerosene lamp and a slop pail. He stated he saw both women exit the cellar, after which Lizzie returned alone. Though he was unable to see what she was doing, he stated it appeared she was bent over the sink. "The hell you doing?" On August 5th, Morse left the Borden house residence and was mobbed by hundreds of people. Police had to escort him to the house. The following day, police conducted a more thorough search of the house, inspecting the sisters' clothing and confiscating the broken-handled hatchet head. That evening, a police officer and the mayor visited the house, and Lizzie was informed that she was a suspect in the murders. The next morning, Russell entered the kitchen to find Borden tearing up a dress. She explained that she was planning to put it on the fire because it was covered in paint. It was never determined whether it was the dress she had been wearing on the day of the murders. Damn, most likely. I mean, what the hell? 5 days before the trial's commencement on June 1st, another axe murder occurred in Fall River. This time, the victim was Bertha Manchester, who was found hacked to death in her kitchen. The similarities between the Manchester and Borden murders were striking and noted by jurors. Jose Correa del Mayo, a Portuguese immigrant, was later convicted of Manchester's murder in 1894 and was determined to not have been in the vicinity of Fall River at the time of the Borden murders. What the hell is going on in this town that there just happens to be another one that's a fucking identical? Why are people just springing up all of a sudden, hacking away people? What is going on? A prominent point of discussion in the trial and press coverage of it was the hatchet head found in the basement, which was not convincingly demonstrated by the prosecution to be the murder weapon. Prosecutors argued that the killer had removed the handle because it may have been covered in blood. Okay. One officer testified that a hatchet handle was found near the hatchet head, but another officer contradicted this. Though no bloody clothing was found at the scene, Russell testified that on August 8, 1892, she had witnessed Lizzie burn a dress in the kitchen stove, saying it had been ruined when she brushed against the wet paint. We remember her saying that. Why else you burning the dress, Lizzie? Why else you burning the dress? Why not get rid of the fucking axe? Like, why would you, like, you should have a plan. I mean, if you're that crazy to do it, some of these fucking murderers, they do have plans, though. This maybe just seemed like a more spur of the thing moment. She didn't put too much thought into, like, hiding evidence or anything. During the course of the trial, the defense never attempted to challenge this statement. Okay. Lizzie's presence at the home was also a point of dispute during the trial. According to testimony, Sullivan entered the second floor at around 10:58 a.m. and left Lizzie and her father downstairs. Lizzie told several people that at this time she went into the barn and was not in the house for 20 minutes, or possibly a half hour. Hyman Lubinsky testified for the defense, and he saw Lizzie leaving the barn at 11:03 a.m., and Charles Gardner confirmed the time. At 11:10 a.m., Lizzie called Sullivan downstairs, told her Andrew had been murdered, and ordered her not to enter the room. Instead, Lizzie sent her to get a doctor. Both victims' heads had been removed during autopsy, and the skulls were admitted as evidence during the trial and presented on June 5, 1893. Upon seeing them in the courtroom, Lizzie fainted. Evidence was excluded that she had sought to purchase prussic acid, hydrogen cyanide. After an hour and a half of deliberation, the jury acquitted Lizzie Borden of the murders. Upon exiting the courthouse, she told reporters she was the happiest woman in the world. I'm so happy. I got away with it. She got away with it? What if it was that other guy, though? The trial has been compared to the later trials of Bruno Hauptmann, I don't know who that is, Ethel and Julius Rosenberg, I don't know who that is, and O.J. Simpson. As a landmark in publicity and public interest in the history of American legal proceedings, that's fucking wild. Although acquitted at trial, Lizzie remained the prime suspect in her father's and stepmother's murders. Writer Victoria Lincoln proposed in 1967 that she might have committed the murders while in a fugue state. That's what it sounds like. Another prominent suggestion was that she was physically and sexually abused by her father, which drove her to kill him. Another significant suspect is John Morse, Lizzie's maternal uncle, who rarely met with the family after his sister died, but had slept in the house the night before the murders. According to law enforcement, he had provided an absurdly perfect and over-detailed alibi for the death of Abby Borden. Morse was considered a suspect by the police for a period. What a fucking weirdo. Yo, what if it was him? That's the thing. Like, what if we're so caught up on Lizzie, it actually, like, we'll never know, right? It's well past it. I mean, they just apparently found out the DNA for the Jack the Ripper guy. Is that true? I don't even really know this. I know vaguely the story of Jack the Ripper, that he was a real-life killer way back when, but he was killing, like, prostitutes and shit like that. A man named William Borden, suspected to be Andrew's illegitimate son, was noted as a possible suspect by author Arnold Brown, who surmised that William had tried and failed to extort money from his alleged father. See, the thing is, like, author Leonard Rebello, after extensive research on William, proved he was not Andrew's son. Yeah, so you're gonna get a bunch of fucking annoying people like this just trying to milk this case for money. They'll be throwing anything at the wall without even doing their fucking due diligence. After the trial, the Borden sisters moved into a large modern house in the Hill neighborhood of Fall River. Around this time, Lizzie began using the same Lizbeth A. Borden at their new house, which Lizbeth dubbed Maplecroft. They had a staff that included live-in maids, a housekeeper, and a coachman. Because Abby was ruled to have died before Andrew, her estate went to Andrew, and then at his death passed to the daughters as part of his estate. A considerable settlement, however, was paid to settle claims by Abby's family. Wow. Despite the acquittal, Lizzie was ostracized by Fall River society. Her name was again brought into the public eye when she was accused of shoplifting in Providence, Rhode Island in 1897. In 1905, shortly after an argument over a parent that Elizabeth had given for actress Nancy O'Neill, Emma moved out of the house and never saw her sister again. Yeah, Lizzie's just a little fucking quackadoo. Just running around fucking robbing. Like, what is she robbing? A Walmart? You kill your parents, you get the house, you get the fame, you get the money. Like, spoiler, but Saltburn, basically same shit, but a little bit. Like, Lizzie's brutal, Saltburn is brutal, but it's like, ugh, it's just nasty. He's fucking drinking the guy's water. It's disgusting. Lizzie was ill in her last year following the removal of her gallbladder. It's all downhill from that. She died of pneumonia on June 1st, 1927, in Fall River at an age of 66. I mean, she got some years. She got years, 66. That's about the best we're doing now. A lot. Funeral details were not published and few attended. 9 days later, Emma died from chronic nephritis in a nursing home in Newmarket, New Hampshire. Not the frittest, bro. At the time of her death, Borden was over $250,000, equivalent to about $5.8 million in current value. She owned a house on the corner of the French Street and Belmont Street, several office buildings, shares in several utilities, 2 cars, and a large amount of jewelry. She left $30,000, equivalent to $700,000, to the Fall River Animal Rescue League. That's nice of her. So in the end, Lizzie did some nice deeds, some Mr. Beast type, like charity shit towards the end, like on her way out. But yeah, she did it. It's like the OJ case. Yo, we should do a video on the OJ case, because yet again, that's one I never like dove deep into, but I know about it obviously, and like the shit, iconic shit, like with the glove and stuff like that. All right, guys, hit that like, subscribe, comment, share. Maybe we could eventually, like I said, get to the Lizzie Borden house for a video. That'd be fucking crazy now that I know about this, and we're probably gonna have to see or do a video on at least one Lizzie Borden movie. I'll have to look into which one potentially for that. So, thank you. I'll see you on the next one.